Here we go. We are thick and fast on CBTV. We've got a pile of suppliers queuing to get in. That's how popular our show is these last few days.
Or we do a terrible job staying on schedule.
Yeah, well, we don't have anybody doing schedule, do we? But that's cool. So next is Simon Peters. We've had some easy names. We've had a Jones and a Peters.
Yes.
No complications. That's cool.
Nope.
But CallCabinet, that's an odd name, and that could mean lots of different things. So why don't you tell us?
I'm thinking it's one of those red things that you have in England where you walk in and make
Yeah,
phone calls.
probably,
It's
yeah,
a call
CallCabinet,
cabinet, right?
Yeah, that's definitely. Well, that's I think what they used to be called. But no, CallCabinet is a compliance call recording solution
Okay.
for Microsoft Teams as well as multiple other platforms. We are one of the first to be certified for Microsoft Teams call recording. We record all voice within Teams, whether that's PSTN, Teams to PSTN, Teams to Teams, Teams meetings, all voice. And we can also record all video, screen sharing as well.
Nice. Wow.
So all modalities.
All modalities, absolutely.
And so who's the target audience for a call cabinet? Is it mostly compliance, those people who work in securities and need to have everything documented, or is there a much larger audience that I'm just ignorant of?
We hit multiple different audiences, to be fair. So one of the primary ones, as you mentioned, is the financial services. We're a MiFID II compliance call recording solution. So that means that we can record all. We record all voice, can store it indefinitely within the platform, or you can set up your own retention period. As I say, because we record all voice, we've got various different security logs that you can actually check to make sure the calls are being recorded, who's accessing them, and everything else like that. But that's just the first start. So you've got financial services. We have a lot of legal firms who utilize our product from a transcription point of view. So anyone who is charging by the hour wants to use their time effectively. So they use our call recording service to record their calls. And then once they're recorded, they're automatically transcribed. They can whip into our platform.
Nice.
Copy the transcription out, and then put it straight into a folder for their clients.
Now, are you using your transcription engine or are you using what Teams provides?
We're using our own transcription engine. So as well as transcribing the call, we also are able to analyze what's being said. So much like the colleague who was here just before, who can pick up keywords, we can pick up keywords, sentiment, voice analytics, and then analyze that against what's being said, how it's being said, and send alerts to supervisors to say, hey, one of your agents is doing something they shouldn't be. Maybe you should go and check some of their calls to make sure they're doing, put them back on the right track.
So where do you store the data? Because especially if we can do video calls, that's a large chunk of data, more than just a little bit of one-to-one voice.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There'll be company names in there and all sorts of
stuff. So we record we store all of our calls. All of our platform is based in Azure. So it's hosted in Azure. All of our calls are stored in Azure, including videos as well. We have a separate storage facility for videos because, as you say, they are quite thirsty and they do come up. One of the parameters that Microsoft puts in place is no matter how many people are on the call, you can only actually keep up to 9 videos per call. So if you've got 50 people on the call, we will still record every single person who was on that call, but we'll keep the 9 most prolific speakers, and that video will come up to the cloud. Cool. But we also record on top of those 9. We also have screen sharing as well. So if multiple people are sharing their screen, we can capture those and then put them in a timeline as they appeared throughout the meeting, and those can be played back in a small thumbnail video or as a full-size screen.
Now, are you able to capture everything? Because when you use the Microsoft's native screen meeting recording, as they add some new features, sometimes those don't get caught. We haven't updated the recording. So how do you handle when like a new feature gets put out and the Microsoft recorder doesn't capture it?
Well, we send our own bots. We send our own bots for every single call. So we have the capability when we're actually setting up call recording for Microsoft. You can run through no matter whether you're setting up 10 users or 10,000 users. It still takes the same amount of time, roughly a couple of hours to go through a couple of like 10 or 15 minutes, but to get everything sorted, a couple of hours, and you're set up, you're recording. And what that basically means is every time you make a call, Microsoft Teams sends us a notification saying a call is taking place. Would you like this call to be recorded? Now, 99.9% of the time, we will always say yes, because we're a compliance recording solution.
Right, that's what you do.
Exactly. We do have the capability, though, to have granular permissions. So if you want, and you have certain people within your business who don't want internal calls to be recorded, like CEOs, CFOs, etc., don't want any of their calls to be recorded for internal use, as in internal calls to be recorded. We can set it up so their calls aren't recorded if it's internal, but as soon as a third party joins that call, the call can start being recorded. As soon as that person leaves, call stops being recording
so
as well.
It's dynamic.
It's dynamic, 100% dynamic, and it's just built with some. We have our own Microsoft Teams application with granular permissions that you can set all of those permissions up within the actual portal.
Yeah. And you, it looks like, just going through the webpage a little, you also support WebEx and other.
Yes.
So because no big company is all Teams
Fully
except for like
encrypted,
Microsoft.
So the beauty of we're platform agnostic effectively. So if we find a voice platform that we don't record, we'll find a way to be able to record it. But from a certification point of view, we are Microsoft Teams certified, as we've already mentioned. We're fully certified across the whole of the Cisco environment, from CUCM all the way up to WebEx, which means if you do have either, if you are a company who's got multiple different platforms and you want to be, so your contact center uses WebEx Contact Center, but your BDMs are using Microsoft Teams, you can have those both recorded independently, but all viewed via this single pane of glass, which is our CallCabinet environment, with a single sign-on using Google's Windows and Okta, with two-factor authentication, with IP whitelisting, if you want to be able to stop people from accessing it from outside of the office, for example, or specific areas, maybe different regions.
Because this could be some very critical data that if the wrong person listened to or watched the meeting.
Exactly,
and there could be a lot of data leakage.
And it's all stored and with a 256-bit rotating encryption key, and that's done at source. So as soon as the call is recorded, it's encrypted, and then it's sent up to the cloud. And each individual call has its own encryption key. So even if someone was to get in, which has never happened, but if it ever would,
not
you can get to one.
You can only get to one call, and then you've got to start again. The other things that we mentioned, obviously WebEx. We also are certified for Zoom. We're also certified for Avaya, and as I say, multiple other platforms.
And how do you deal with auditing and stuff? So do you know who's listened to what calls and what videos? And so you've got a track record.
Great question. Yeah, 100%. So we have a security log, which as soon as you create your CallCabinet environment for your business, it starts at day dot. As you add users, those go in the security log. As someone plays a call back, it goes in the security log. As someone shares a call, because we have a compliant sharing function, where if you, rather than downloading a call and sending it to them via a third-party application because maybe it's too big to send in an email, you can actually send them a link from inside of the platform, which is tracked to the end user. You can see who shared it and to who.
When it was open,
where they were, what the IP was of where they opened it.
Cool.
And that's
very cool.
And you can share it for a limited period of time as well.
Right. So you have 1 day, 2 days, whatever.
Exactly.
Super.
And you can also allow them to make notes and notify you when notes have been made on that call.
And just to finish off, so how's the show going for you? You getting a lot of interest?
It's been phenomenal. I mean, I've done plenty of different shows, and this one I have to say is the best, if not from where it is.
There you go, Mark and Pay.
Absolutely.
Everybody
it's not just the quantity of people who've been to see us in the last 2 days, but the quality. The engagement has been brilliant.
Do you gauge the quality on how hard a question they ask?
Yeah, well, if they ask questions for a start, because obviously you can get people who come along and just want some free swag.
Sure.
Where is it?
No, what do you got?
I'll bring it back to you next time. Or into the raffle to win some headphones. But
where are they? Where are they? Sorry, we're on a trend.
And then,
if they're in Jabra headphones.
Yeah, that's true.
Apple AirPods.
That's good.
But it's a good show.
But it's a great show. Yeah, it's been really, really enjoyable. Hopefully, we'll be back again next year for more of the same.
Hopefully, we'll be back next year.
I hope I'll be
better
back
organized. But that's fine. Well, thank you very much for joining us. That was actually quite enticing. Recording, I always think of tapes when I can still see me changing tapes on dealer systems from 20, 30 years ago. So it's amazing how it's progressed.
It has progressed. And the beauty of what we can do is if someone has got a legacy call recording system, we can take those calls, whether they're on-prem, whether they're in someone else's cloud, we can bring them in, ingest them.
It's on the webpage, you have a whole data migration.
Exactly, data migration. And then we didn't get to the BI analytics and everything else like that, but we've got a full BI analytics suite built in.
So all right, we're going to stop you now because there's so much we can talk about, but that'll be really cool. Thank you very much indeed, Simon.
Thank you.